Hello and welcome to Scott's Garage. Today is a very special version of Scott's Garage because we have a guest. I know we don't often have guests on Scott's Garage, but today we do. And can you tell me your name? Connor? Your name is Connor? Oh wait. Conair. Conair, and your last name? Steamer. Conair Steamer. It's kind of a weird name. So you're at Scott's Garage because I hear you're kind of not feeling well. No, not really. Okay, not really feeling too well. What exactly is the problem? Oh, so you start up in the morning and you're all steamed up and then you just kind of shut off for no reason whatsoever. All right. Well, Connor, I think you came to the right place. This definitely seems like a job for Scott's Garage. Let's get started, okay? Okay. But seriously, this is my wife's Conair steamer. She's had it for a long time. She was telling me she's had it for like 10 years. And it's not working right. It starts up, starts producing steam, and then it just shuts off. I guess you fill that clear tank there with water. You turn it on, steam comes up this tube, and then from what I understand, steam comes out here, and then you just kind of like use this wand to get the wrinkles out of your garment. So let's tear this apart and see if we can find out what's wrong. I'm not really sure how it works or what is all involved here. Let's see, this tube looks like you turn it here, and so this is the steamer tube, so steam comes up through here and out here, and that's how you de-wrinkle, unwrinkle, diswrinkle. And then this looks like it's just sort of a hanging stanchion, so you can hang your garments there and do that. So we really don't need any of this stuff. This is not really it. And then this is the water tank. So let's go drain this. I'm gonna go put this, water my plants with it, so we don't want to waste any water. And then we'll get back into taking this apart. I took all the screws out. There's looks like 5 screws. There's this cool like wheel in the back. You can like kick it back and roll it on this wheel, which is kind of neat. I thought that was kind of a neat design. So you took out the screws, so this top should just kind of pop off, and then that's what we have there. And all right, so this is kind of the basic heart of it. Let's detach these wires and see if we can pull this apart and see. So at its core, the Conair steamer for steaming your clothes, getting the wrinkles out of your clothes, basically comes down to this. Electrodes go in there, this heats up, the water comes, it's kind of like this. So it goes like this. The water comes in through the tank, goes in here, this heats up, it evaporates, the steam rises of course, and goes up that way. So there's a couple of things that could be wrong with this. First thing is there's a big hole right here. I don't know how deep that hole goes. I looked up and I can buy a new one of these from AliExpress from China. The shipping would kind of kill me, and it was a 220 volt. This is a 120 volt. So I wasn't able to find a replacement of this here domestically. But in looking at it, it did not have a hole there. It was just nice and smooth. So it's not supposed to have a hole there. So I don't know whether a piece of debris got there and just ate its way down, or maybe it's shorting out from within, because I'm sure that this is probably cast aluminum or pot metal around some sort of a coil that heats up, I would imagine. And So I think I'm going to grind this down and see how deep that goes, and maybe try to fill this with JB Weld. The second problem that it has is, so it goes in here, the water comes in and then evaporates out here. The water's not supposed to go down here. It has a seal in it, which has some silicone sealer, and that goes around the edge of this. And you can see it's nice and clean. There's nothing. And then you get here and you're like, oh gosh, look at this. This has been leaking for a long time. It's not supposed to go into this area. There's a little lip here and the sealer, and looks like this thing is in okay shape. It's still rubbery and good, but the water leaked through there. This orange sealer did not do its job. So maybe I can take off the sealer, clean this up, JB Weld, reseal with some silicone sealer, and put it all back together, and maybe it will work. Further evidence is that this goes on the bottom of this, and this had all kinds of sediment and things built up, like it had been getting wet over years and years and years. So it might shut off because it has a sensor or some way of knowing that this area is getting wet and then it's shorting out. So anyway, that's my theory, and let's go forward with that. So I've got my oldest drill safely secured in the vise with the automatic throttle positioning system, and this is actually my oldest drill. I had this since I was a kid, and if you know what this is, a chuck key. It comes with a chuck key, and of course it's all wore out and doesn't work, and this is all rusty, and it doesn't really tighten this thing. But in the olden days, kids, that's how they used to have to they used to have to tighten it, and then it didn't tighten it very well at all, and that's why they don't use this anymore. And the only reason that it's not lost is because I zip tied it to this, but otherwise it's pretty useful. And of course, using the proper eye protection, I just take off. And of course it rolled under the workbench as far away as possible. And I'm probably going to grind off my hand, and a few of these little spikes are going to fly off and get stuck in my cheek. My goal for today is to do a test. So this is the kind of the heart of the Conair Extreme Steam 1500 garment steamer, which that's what all of this parts strewn about are. This is the thing that gets hot. So this was actually like eaten through. There's a coil that goes from this to this, these two electrodes, that runs throughout this whole thing, and they were potted within this metal thing. The hole that you saw was actually the electrode eating its way through to the outside. So that was, the water was coming down, the electrode was actually encountering the water. Either it was overheating, it was over steaming, or somehow shorting. So my idea was to encapsulate this whole thing with JB Weld, which is a metallized epoxy. It's going to be in contact with that coil, which is going to be very hot. But this metallized epoxy JB Weld has a working temperature up to 600 F, which that's pretty high, but I don't think it's going to be quite high enough. So I think once I plug this in, it's going to explode, catch on fire, or melt. Or maybe all three. So let's see. In order to do a test, a bench test on this, I kind of have to put it back together, which involves electricity, and that's dangerous. So this little device here, I think that's probably temperature sensor, that like a thermal fuse, I guess. And that goes there, so I need to find some screws that might screw that back in. I wonder what Jeremy Clarkson is doing right now. I saw that there's a new Jeremy Clarkson season 2, like Clarkson's Farm. I'm gonna watch that. That seems like that's gonna be pretty cool. He's definitely fun to watch.
What are you doing?
Hey, how's it going?
What's happened? I'm interrupting a critical moment, am I?
No. I need your input.
Okay.
All right, so that was a nice visit from neighbor John. He says go ahead and try it. He's my technical consultant on a lot of things. He's very knowledgeable about lots of stuff, and I appreciate his input. And this looks really, really sketchy, but we're gonna try it anyway. Okay, so then if I take this, and we're not gonna plug this in just yet. Because we need the switch. And I think I need to check the video on the switch. Okay, I think I have all the wires hooked up right. I checked my photo. So let's move over to the vise to put this in a safe spot. Okay. I am going to take this cord and walk quite a bit away and plug it in here. And then I'm going to flip the switch now. Ooh. Here is my setup, my test rig. So we have the heating unit coated with JB Weld here, and you saw in the previous video that I turned it on and it smoked a little bit, and I think it cured enough to be usable because it kind of stopped smoking, and I've gone through a couple of cycles and it's worked fine. So we have the power coming in here to this, and then we have the power coming in here. This is a thermal switch, and then it makes the circuit here. So when it is heating and the switch is open, that red light is going to go on. This is plugged in to power. Down there we're going to turn on this switch to on. It's going to light up, then this is going to light up. This is going to start heating, and then when this thermal switch goes to overheat, which it will because normally this has water all around it, it's heating water. Right now it doesn't, so it doesn't take very long for it to overheat. That will trip, and then this will go out, letting you know that the circuit is not complete. There's going to be no power. There's going to be power here, but there's going to be no power there. So I guess we could, well, we could put it there. That's fine. Okay, so let's try this. So we're going to switch this on. That's on. That's on. And then we're going to check the heat. And that's climbing. And we're going to look for the test light to go off when that thermal switch trips. And you can see that's way too hot. Water boils at 212, and so then there, it just went off. That light just went off. So that thermal switch just tripped because it's way over the heat that it needs to boil. We have a little bit of smoke, but not too much. So I think that means that we should put this together and see if we can boil water with it, because I think it's working. So this has this internal assembly, the heating element assembly, has had a chance to dry overnight. I'm hoping that all of the RTV is dry. And that unit will go right into this housing. This is kind of the base housing of the unit. So I have to put this in there like that. And that kind of pushes down in there and aligns with, there's 4 screws, 4, and this aligns with 2 screws, kind of fits in there tightly. Okay, I don't think that's going anywhere. These clamps are on. So let's hook up the wiring. This double guy goes there. Then single white male, single white female goes here. And single black male, female goes here to this male. And then, where do the wires go from there? Like over here? Something? I'm just going to put maybe a couple screws in here in case this thing needs to come apart again, which I don't know why I would take it apart again. I think the next step is either it works or trash can. Do one more here. Okay, so when I plug this in, turn this on, I'm going to put water in here, and steam should come out here. This is cool. Water and electricity. Don't try this at home, folks. So that tube with the clamps on there leads into there, and oh, there's water down there. Okay. So there's only one thing left to do, I think. Is that a good view? I hope there are no fireworks. So let's see if I turn on, I'm going to put on safety glasses, and I'm going to get at a reasonable distance, and if this light turns on, which it did, lights on in the back, and I saw the lights in the garage flicker, so that tells me that it's drawing power. No way. I just have to maintain enough water in here. Wow, look at the water go down. That's crazy. And here comes the steam. And it's boiling the water. Hopefully it won't trip the... And it looks like it's slowing down. So is it gonna stop? Did it trip the... So what am I gonna do with this thing? I fixed it, kinda. It's not really ready for prime time. I'm not really ready to release this back into the wild. It kind of does the same thing where when I plug it in, it starts boiling, producing steam, and then pretty quickly it overheats and the safety trips. Also, the JB weld kind of melts and produces some pretty noxious plasticky, burning plastic odors. So I really don't want to give this back to my wife to go in the house and start doing that. I already told her I wasn't going to be able to fix this. And she said, that's fine. It's not very expensive. This is really old. She kind of wanted to buy a new one, and she'd like to pick out a new one that has like maybe some more features or something like that. So she's fine with it. So then I can just toss this in the trash just like this. Just toss it. I could tear it apart and save the parts. Cord, the switch in the back is pretty cool, and some nuts and bolts and stuff. Or I could repurpose it. I figure it still kind of works. It still sort of makes steam. And I had another idea for a project that I was working on that I was thinking about for Scott's garage. And I have my old back scratcher that I made a long time ago. It's probably 15 years ago or so, and I use it all the time. It's great, you know? And I steam bend it. So this bend right here, I steam bent it, and then made a fixture, and then when it dried, it stayed in that position. And I use this all the time. I cut some like cool handles in there. And when I go camping, I don't have this. So we're camping, and at night, your back's itchy. So it'd be great to have another one of these for the van, or just maybe, I don't know, give away as gifts for Christmas or something. I don't know, something. And I have some pretty cool wood left over from some other projects. So this is, I forget the name of it. It's kind of like a zebra wood, but that's not the name of it. And then a darker wood, which is, I think this was ironwood, because it's really heavy. And I might like rip a couple of these about this width down and try to steam bend it. I have no idea whether this wood will steam bend or just some pine. I don't know about that. But those are just some of the ideas. So I thought, what if I repurpose this as a steam bender? So I was going to have to figure out a way to produce steam to bend these items. So I thought, well, that's perfect. It gets all hot, produces steam. Maybe I can repurpose this as a steam bender and not just throw it away. So that's what I think I'm going to do. So you may see this unit in a future project when I make some back scratchers. That's going to be a project for another day. But we're not going to throw this away. We're going to say now it is not a garment steamer, it is a steam bender jig. And I think that's where we'll call it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.